The next question comes from New Brunswick, Canada. I'm spending a lot of time rebalancing gel nails by manual filing, sometimes an hour or more if I take over another Nailtext client. How do you feel about electric filing? I believe that electric files for nails have a place in the nail industry when they're properly used. Just remember this: just because you can buy an electric file does not mean you know how to use it correctly or safely. To do so requires knowledge, practice, and skill. These don't come with the purchase of a new electric nail file. A lack of these three things can often lead to a use of electric files in an unsafe manner, which can result in serious injury to the client's nails or the surrounding skin. So for this reason, I don't think they should be used on the natural nail. Even so, there are some who possess a great degree of skill and claim to never overthin the nail plate or damage the surrounding tissue. But for most people, this is a potentially risky practice for clients' nail plate. Overfiling the natural nail is one of the biggest problems facing the nail industry and facing clients in salons. It's easy to overfile the natural nail with a manual file, and the risk of nail plate damage greatly increases when electric files are used for this purpose. The reason for filing the surface is not to remove multiple layers of the nail plate. Instead, the reason for filing the surface is to increase the surface area so that the nail coating has more to grab onto and hold in order to increase adhesion. Now, if we increase the surface area on the top layers, we get the same adhesion benefits as if we increase the surface layers of the nail plate 10 layers below the top layer. So, if adhesion levels are the same, why strip away 10 layers of the natural nail? There's no reason for doing this other than a lack of knowledge. This misguided practice is left over from the early days when the nail industry education was poor and products didn't have that great of adhesion. That lack of knowledge leads to many incorrect practices, and that still exist today, and some nail educators are still teaching these damaging practices. To use any nail file safely, any type, it requires knowledge, practice, and skill, but it also requires care and attention to the client's nails. Because the potential for damage is so much greater with electric files, my recommendation is that they should never be used on a client until after the nail professional gets training from other nail professionals who possess the necessary knowledge and skill. In short, if used carefully and properly, electric nail files can be used safely, but they can create serious injury and significant damage when improperly used, so they should be avoided unless the nail professional obtains specialized training in their correct use.